Welcome to another episode of the Tech Dad Pod, people.
Yeah, welcome episode 2 of the Tech Dad Pod. I've already fucked up.
Hey, that's a lesson.
Podcast.
That's a lesson for parenting. You fuck it all up and start again. Try again. Who knows?
Also, a lesson for parenting is don't try and do anything on a Monday morning.
Don't. Just accept Monday mornings are a write-off and ease into your week, which is what we have decided not to do. So, well done.
We did not.
Well
we
done,
went straight in. It's not even early. It's not even early Monday morning. It's gone 10 a.m. It's not like we're doing this at 6 a.m. and we've got an excuse. There's no excuse.
Yeah. What time were you up this morning?
7.
7? Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah,
that's not too bad. Yeah,
but actually, this is an actual very good segue into the episode because school's out for summer.
Yes, day one of school holidays.
That's why I had a little bit of a lay-in because the kids had a lot of a lay-in. They were not up until gone 9, which was heaven.
Lazy bastards, but
they are
fair. I'd
much prefer that. But it doesn't happen often.
It doesn't. I'm still in the phase where they get up anywhere between 6 and 8 o'clock. You just never know what you're going to get. Though? They do. They will wake up. If they wake up at 6, they'll come into the bedroom and say hello to Stephanie and I and be like, "Hey, good morning." And then sometimes my youngest comes in for a bit of a cuddle, and then he'll run away and then do his own thing for a while.
Perfect.
Before swiftly returning and being like, "Stephanie, can you make my smoothie now?" Because Stephanie makes some smoothies for breakfast in the morning. And then that's usually about 7:15. But on a school day, we make sure that we get up around 7:15 so we can take her to school. But
nice.
But yeah, or my eldest does football at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. It's like, Saturday. I don't know. Saturday mornings. Why did they do these things so early?
Yeah,
but I guess it's because those kids
normally
do get
at 10 on a Saturday. But even that is a struggle. Not a struggle, but I'd rather not.
But it's nice that they have something that they enjoy and they can go away and do it. You know what I mean?
It is.
It's kind of nice to see them running around and like getting that exercise in and expending some energy. You need that. Your kids need that for sure.
Yeah. I also like seeing them getting better.
The improvement.
Jaden at the moment, he's adamant he wants to be a footballer. And I've not got a heart to tell him, you're not there yet. Keep working.
Is he a West Ham fan too?
But he's not. He's a City fan. Which
city? Manchester City.
Man City. Yeah. So that's been a journey.
Yeah, so is Teddy. I'm ambivalent. I'm just like, you support whoever you want, mate. I don't care.
Yeah, in fairness, there is a genuine reason why I didn't push West Ham on him. Is because not only I'm not going to name anyone, but I did grow up and go to and play football with people that did make it professional. I'm not going to name drop. I'm not that guy. Not yet anyway. If we need to get the subscribers up, I'm going to name drop the shit out of everyone. No, but not only that, but I also saw a lot of people, especially, I don't know if this is at all clubs or a lot to do with West Ham in general, in that where a lot of the kids' dreams is to just play for West Ham. So if there was, say, at West Ham's academy at 14 and 15 and then West Ham let them go, that's almost a dream over for them.
Yeah, it's heartbreak.
Yeah, whereas, so I was kind of not wanting to push a team on Jaden to that level because I'd want him to say he was at City's academy. I mean, that's a reach. Right now, that is a reach. But say any academy, say he was at any academy, but he's not affiliated with that team. If they then let him go, it's not as heartbreaking and it's more the career rather than where he's doing it.
Yeah, you want to set your kids up for success and build some level of resilience in, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I didn't push the team. But it is annoying when especially when there's such a gulf between our teams.
Yeah.
Like I know if West Ham are playing City, it will not be a close game, and I just
Hopefully
have
it's
to
a 3 o'clock game and not on telly.
I just have to take the L. I've accepted it. Like he's got the day of gloating. It is what it is.
Kids are such little shits, aren't they?
They really are.
Yeah, you said it's school holidays. School's out. First day of summer break. So for any US listeners, our school break doesn't start until, well, now, mid-July. Like, y'all have all been off since, what, June, I think? Mid-June, I think, or the start of June. Something like that in the US, and then they go back in mid-August or something like that. But ours has just started, and they won't go back until September now. I was thinking about this morning, and I've just got used to. So I've got 5.5, and 3.5. I've just got used to not paying extortionate amounts for childcare because Teddy's been in reception, so kindergarten for US listeners. That first year, not paying extortionate amounts for childcare, preschool or childminders or whatever. And now they're about to spend 6 weeks in childminders or like summer camps, and I'm just like, God damn, the expense of doing that is just. Oh, thanks. I've just got used to that, and now I'm just like, oh, I'm going to be stretched this month.
This is where I'm very lucky because Carmel is a teacher, so this is partly one of the reasons the journey with kids happened in the first place, because all of the scenario, I guess, needed to be, for me, it needed to be perfect. So they both went to her school because she's in junior school or elementary for anyone in the US. And so I knew that they would go to their school. They would go to her school. Her mum lives across the road from the school. So it was almost selfish from my point of view, in that I knew that for the first 10, 11 years, school was not going to be my bag.
Yeah.
So any sort, like now we're in the summer. There's no real worry about childcare because, like the kids, she's also off. So
yeah,
it's kind of worked well.
How does she feel? How does she feel about that? Because she spends all damn week during term times with kids, and then has to spend time with her own. Does she enjoy spending the time with just her kids on her own and not doing classroom stuff?
I think it helps a lot that the age difference is like that there is an age difference. So she teaches year 1. I don't know what that would be in
first grade.
First grade.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, and Amelia is a year above that, but then Jaden's obviously now going into secondary school. Would that be middle school in the US?
Yeah,
or
seventh grade. Yeah, seventh grade. It's I think they go into middle school in 8th. What would be 8th grade? I think. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yes, so I think because of the age gap, I think it's okay. There's also a lot of difficult children, or there were a lot of difficult children in her class this year, and ours are fairly easy in hindsight. So from that perspective, I think it's okay.
Yeah,
I've never actually asked her. I probably should.
Just like how yeah, this is a you problem.
I'll tell you when it was a you problem is in 2020 in COVID, when we went into lockdown. It was homeschooling, wasn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like the schools were just saying, here's your online learning for the week. Do it. Pretty much. That was pretty much it. And I had a teacher in the house, so I said, "That's your bag. I'll be upstairs working." I had quite a few naps. I'm not going to lie. Watch TV. Not a lot of work got done on my part, especially because I could say to my work, "I've got to do the homeschooling." I played both sides of the fence, and
yeah, I was still doing sales for the most part when COVID was happening, and when we actually had like an uptick because people were looking to refine and make their processes easier, like cloud based, and that was super important to be able to move with like agility, like in the tech space. And what have you. So like my schedule was able to manage it with the kids. Unfortunately, like predominantly US customers, but living in the UK, that kind of worked out because during the day you like help out with the kids and then do all your stuff like with your customers and that in the evening. So yeah, COVID. I look back on that now and it seems like forever ago, but the scars are still real. I think a lot of us suppress that experience.
Yeah, I almost I don't count those two, like 2020, 2021. I don't count that as real life.
Yeah, it's like it was paused.
Yeah,
I think we were so unprepared as a civilization for that.
yeah, we were. I also don't think we've learnt too much from it. Not from a people standpoint, but from a government decision making standpoint. I don't think there's been many lessons learned.
No, it was kind of so reactive. I think it's just like we need to plan better for these disaster scenarios, and you know, I guess the thing with that is just like you're banking on something really fucking shit happening and being prepared for it. I know, so I think there's a really yeah. Have you ever seen The Big Short?
Love The Big Short.
Movie. The Big Short is a great movie, but there is a line in that which is talking about two of the investors during the time of the financial crash, saying that their investment strategy was based off of people don't like to think about bad things happening, so they always underestimate the severity of those bad things happening. So that is how I kind of think about how the world looks at these scenarios. They don't like to predict bad things happening, and if bad things do happen, they underestimate the severity at which they happen. So you plan in effectively for those scenarios because it's not going to be as bad as you said it was. And that's this whole fucking COVID thing happened, and we're up the creek. You know what I mean? Like that was it was bad, and like with that mindset, I think that we put ourselves at real risk of those things happening again, because who wants to invest loads of time, money, energy, expense in investing in scenarios or disaster planning scenarios which we don't want to happen? And it seems like a waste, you know? So maybe there's a good chance we end up in a similar situation, but I don't know. It was a tough time for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing the only positive I can think that come out of it is the people will now know how to handle it better and what to expect to an extent.
Yeah. I'm fed up of living in unprecedented times. Like, give me some precedented times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Speaking so school holidays. School holidays are here. Big thing for any parent and managing work, life balance, and whether you've got childcare or whether you've not. What you got any plans for the summer?
Yeah, I do love the summer, because it's probably the one time of year that I get to spend a solid 2 weeks with my family. So we have it's like a tradition now. We just go to a villa in Spain, in south east Spain, where the weather is always really nice. It's a beautiful part of the world. We have a villa, and we just sorry, I just want to clarify. We rent a villa. We do not own a villa. Yeah. My family does not own a villa in the south of Spain. I need to clarify that because
tech hasn't been that kind to us yet.
No. But yeah, I get to spend a solid 2 weeks with my sisters, my dad, my stepmom, the kids, all of the kids. So there's quite a few kids now. When this all kind of started, it was actually just Jaden, and then Amelia came along. Then my sister's had her brood of kids, so there's a few kids now. But it's fun. Yeah. It's fun because most of the kids are at ages now where they're quite entertaining to be around, and it's always fun.
Yeah. Nice. That sounds great. You know,
it is. I think it's the highlight of the year for the whole family now. It is really good. How about you? Are you any plans?
No. So with like co-parenting, I think they're their mum is planning on taking them away somewhere. Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I actually don't know. She may well be thinking about that, but I have no plans. I've got to travel a bit this summer as well, back to the US for conferences. But yeah, when they are here, I was just mentioning about like childcare costs. So they've got a childminder that's super good and looks after them and what have you. But the cost of doing things in the summer is so prohibitive. Like,
Yeah, it's horrible.
Prices of doing stuff. I mean, so you think we were Stephanie and I, my fiance and I really want to take the kids to America. She's from Austin, Texas, and has big family in Austin, Texas. I don't have a big family. I have a sister, but she hasn't got any kids yet, or things like that. But if you're doing something like as a family, and everyone can chip in to like a big villa in Spain or whatever, then that really reduces the cost. Yeah, sure, flights are going to be more expensive and what have you when you got to bounce out to Spain with 4 of you or whatever. But yeah, so we're saving up so that we can take them to the US, because my kids haven't been able to get out to the US yet. But that's the big thing that Stephanie and I really want to do, is take them. But kids, you got to pay full price, whatever the time of year it is. And flying to the States, you're looking at £850 at a minimum to fly from the UK to the US. And yeah, so that's to say. But yeah, I mean, providing British summer is kind to us, it'll be fine. Stick Teddy in football camp as well for a few days, and give them those kind of experiences. And yeah, I think there's a lot you can do in the UK. It doesn't. A lot of people in the UK think about going abroad, but you can actually do a lot. In the UK or locally.
Also, just the spending time with them in general.
Yeah.
Like kids,
it's just nice to have
you don't have to do anything with kids. They just want time, like with you. As long as they get the time with you, they don't care where they are.
Yeah. They just want to hang out. They want to hang out with their parents. So
yeah, I think a lot of people neglect that to an extent.
Yeah. I think they're like, oh, I've got the kids to look after. No, that's your privilege when you have kids, because they're going to get to an age where they don't want to spend any time with you. They're going to be like, no, leave me alone. So yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those big things that we complain about. But yeah, like again, also like taking my kids. I don't know how your kids are on flights now that they're a bit older, but the idea of taking my 3.5-year-old on a flight longer than an hour anywhere is punishing.
Have they flown much?
Yeah. So when me and their mum were together, we took them to Spain. That was the last holiday that we went on, like as a family, in January 2022. And that was a 2.5-hour flight, and my youngest had just turned 1 at the time, was just 1 and a bit, and yeah, him on the flight was just, I don't know, he's always been wriggly and up and down, but that flight and logistics in the airport, and like pushing the buggy or the stroller or whatever around the airport, and like managing that whole process, you realize as an adult you're way more equipped to handle airports and big travel terminals compared to when you're a kid. I mean, it's easier when, like, I imagine when they're Jaden's age, for example, you know, it's kind of like you can get by on like the excitement and you have a little bit more control over them. But you know, when they're Casper and Teddy's age, you know, it's like, why do we have to do this? Or like, you know, big crowds and things like that is a whole new experience for them. And yeah, so it's been a while since I took them on any kind of long haul flight, but that'll be interesting when Stephanie and I take them to the States. 9 hours on a plane. I think there's tips out there, like take baby Benadryl for them to knock them out. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see. They actually say that on the packet. So Benadryl's allergy medication, but it's drowsy, so it's really good for like knocking even adults out. But you know, give them to the kids, and get them to sleep.
Yeah, I can't.
Their
I can't
schedules get all
imagine
messed up.
taking Jane and Amelia on a long haul flight, even though they've been flying from very young every year. Like Jaden was 6 months. 6 months. Right. Yeah, 6 months. When he first went, Amelia was 6 weeks, which was, I mean, the most stressful thing about getting her there was the passport. That's one thing that I think doesn't get spoken about enough, is that a baby's passport is almost pointless. Especially because I don't know if this is the same everywhere in the world, but for the UK, you've got that first passport is for 5 years. So Jaden literally was a 5-year-old with a passport that could have been, like, the picture could have been any baby. Because babies, to an extent, they're kind of generic looking. Like there's no
All babies are
outstanding
beautiful.
traits. Yeah, they're all beautiful, but well, not all. Some are not. Some grow into it. But yeah, the
You
photo
speaking from
almost seems
experience, Andrew.
a little bit. Yeah, and with Amelia, it was weird because I stressed. Like, I don't think I've ever been that stressed preparing for a holiday before, purely because getting the passport done can be stressful anyway, and this was just one of those times where it was taking longer than it should have, and all that kind of stuff. And then we got to Spain, landed, was at security, and they didn't even care that she had a passport, because they was just, oh,
waving through.
she's so small. They just assumed she didn't even need one.
Oh, well, there you go.
So that was an experience.
So planning. You need the passport. You need your accommodation. You need your flights booked. Packing. Yeah. So I actually read something yesterday. So yesterday was the last day of the US Open golf tournament, right? I'm a big golf guy. Love golf. But they were talking about Rory McIlroy, and Rory McIlroy didn't make the cut, so he didn't play the weekend. And he now infamously is quoted, I was on the 26th hole of the tournament and thinking about where I was going on vacation next week. And there was a tweet where he was put on blast, basically saying like, I hope you enjoy your vacation, but a vacation, and don't take the kids with you, because a vacation with kids is not a vacation. It's parenting in a different place with half the shit you usually have to be well equipped to handle it. When you think about like packing, has there been any like omissions or things where you've gone, I wish I had this, or like what are some things that when you go to Spain and you do this great family holiday that you go, I need to have that with me?
I can't ever think of there being too many times where it's been about, when we're in Spain, what do they need? It's normally always been about getting there. It's always been the journey. I mean, the best example is iPad for the plane. Like, I know there'll be a lot of people listening that are kind of against kids having devices, and I know at some point we're going to do a whole episode on screen time and stuff like that. But I just think for a flight, for the kids to just be able to chill out and have a distraction from what's going on, and be able to watch films or programs, play some games, I just think it's, for my two, it's been a lifesaver. I know that much.
Yeah. No, I concur with that. I think I haven't taken Teddy on a plane for over 2 years now, but like that would be the thing for me. It's just like get a screen, just get a screen.
Yeah.
Like it's don't, like, you need some form of entertainment for them. Like, there's, that whole phenomena these days about raw dogging flights.
Yeah, I couldn't do
like,
it.
The idea of that to me is like criminal. But can you imagine trying to get a child to raw dog a flight?
No.
no entertainment, no snacks, no water, no nothing.
Some guy did that coming back from, he was sat next to me on the flight from San Francisco in September last year, and he was a big guy anyway, not fat, just just very tall. Like he probably taller than you. And
I'm 6'5" for reference, everybody, which is
yeah,
pretty tall and pretty
pretty
uncomfortable,
tall.
especially in an economy.
Yeah. These were not legroom seats. I will say that. And yeah, this guy had nothing. He just sat down, and I mean, he was trying to talk to people around me, which straight away I thought, dude, that's not happening with me. Like I I purposefully plan what I'm going to watch on a flight, especially a long haul. Like I'll go on. So we flew with United straight away 2 days before. I'm on United's website seeing what films they got, what films, what TV shows. Like I need to plan that. And this is talking about me. This is not talking about the kids. So it probably now makes more sense on why I'm so for the kids having entertainment, because I need it. See, I couldn't raw dog a flight like that.
No. But yeah, give them a damn screen. It makes your life better. You know, I don't care. Like, I don't care. You can be the purest parent in the world and be like, I manage without screens. They make your life easier. They do. Just accept that. For a flight.
Also, it doesn't have to be like it's not just screens that you can bring. Like I've found it's always good to let them pack what they want for the plane. Like make them almost part of it. So give them a. I mean, my two are on like back. They pack a backpack each now, but at like there was times where it would have been like a trunky or something like that. But just having them, because then they get excited for it as well because they've been part of the process. So like Amelia will pack her iPad, but then there'll be colouring, there'll be stickers, there'll be all these kinds of things. And
oh, that reminds me, activity books.
Yeah,
give me activity books, more activity books in my life. You know, I'm pretty sure you're probably able to get these in the States, but you know, activity books that have like stickers in, or like do puzzles or do whatever. Like keep them engaged, like some brain activity. You know, it's good for them. Yeah. And those activity books, to their credit, do teach you some stuff. Well, I don't know, you can dinosaur activity books or Peppa Pig or whatever it is that you're watching, whatever they're into. Paw Patrol, I don't mind. It's like, especially with those young ones, activity books, man. Like, yeah, if you're not into the screen thing, activity books, and like I think that's really really great advice what you said about get them to pack their own thing and get them involved and get them excited for it. You know, and yeah, get them excited for the destination too and the experience that you're going to have on holiday. You know, really, really, really sound advice. But yeah, what about at the airport? Managing that airport experience, getting through the airport. Is there any top tips?
I've always been. I've realised I didn't. I've almost taken this for granted. Is that I've been quite lucky in where I've flown from. So near where I am, there is Southend Airport, it's a very small airport. It's outside of London. It's about half hour outside of London. Although it will be called London Southend Airport, but then I think there's probably only one airport in London, like actually within London, which is City Airport. Oh yeah, I think every other one has just got the name London, even though it's not in London.
Yeah, London Stansted is not in London. Like London Luton is.
Luton was my next one. It was like Luton's nowhere near London.
On the topic, avoid Luton Airport like the plague.
Do you know what? No, it's got better. It has got better. I went there. They've upgraded all the security stuff around it now, which is good. So you know that I think all airports are getting to the point where you're not going to need to take like devices and stuff out of the bags, and they just leave it in
out your bags. Oh mate,
yeah,
that's my favorite
Luton's
thing about
like
flying.
that now. Yeah,
that's my favorite thing about flying through big airports in the States.
What, just not having to take it out?
Not having to take the bags. Like I think the first airport that I did that was actually in Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. They're just like, no, just leave everything in your bag. And I was just like, thank you.
Yeah. Southend is like that now, but where it's such a small airport, we literally can walk in and you're through security. For context, there is maybe 2 flights a day out of the airport. So that shows you how small it is. So because of that, I've never really had to navigate a big airport. Although saying that, from like coming back the other side, Malaga's Malaga's not a small airport, so from that point of view, we have kind of done it, but we've never done like a Heathrow, for example.
Yeah.
Which is a joke.
Yeah. I think one of those things is just a little bit of organization. Like organization is important. If you're flying on your own, you can afford to be a little bit disorganized. But if you're with the kids, bags that are the regulation size. If you're flying on one of those shitty airlines that only gives you like a bag that is the size of a pocketbook, you know what I mean? Then you need to check a damn bag. Check a bag. Like obviously, if you're flying with kids and stuff, you're probably going to be checking a bag anyway. But like, put all the stuff that you need in a check bag. Make sure you have a change of clothes in like your backpack for both of the kids, or however many kids you got. A change of clothes for each of them. You've got snacks and what you need. If you're flying with really young kids, you know, like you can take like if like you're breastfeeding, then great. Or if you're taking kids that are on like formula or what have you, like their airports are all super reasonable about that kind of stuff. Like
I was going to say that I think a lot of people assume the worst when it comes to an airport, but if you're traveling with kids, they're normally very accommodating.
Yeah, super accommodating. You just need to have everything like segmented and that it's easily the things that you do need to get out of your bag. Just make sure that they're either at the top or in a separate compartment. Like having a bag with like multiple pockets for different stuff is going to be game changer for you. You know, make sure all your passports and your travel documents are in your, you know, like those small like East pack bags or your fanny packs or whatever, your bum bags, whatever you call them. Keep all that stuff like close on your person, and then compartmentalize and segment your things and make sure they're easily accessible. It sounds like such like a no-brainer tip, but the amount of times I've been in a security queue and seen parents, bless them, that are like digging through bags to find stuff or what have you. It's just like, just make sure they're easily accessible, because traveling is stressful for most people at any given point. And if you're holding up the queue at security, which is stressful at the best of times for all the other passengers, like try and be considerate of other people. Like, you know, like traveling is a privilege, and it's not a selfish endeavor. There's hundreds of thousands of other people trying to travel that day through that airport. Just be considerate and kind to those passengers, but it's also a service to yourself, because it's going to keep your stress levels much lower as well if you come pre-prepared with all the things you need to take out. The other good tip as well is if you are flying with younger kids that need like a car seat, you're doing rental car on the other side or what have you, like they let you have like 2 free items, so like your stroller as well as a car seat. They allow you to check those for like free and stuff. So just make sure that whatever airline you're traveling on, if you have tickets for kids or whatever, then they usually will have something associated for them. So if you're thinking about rental cars and like, oh, do I have to take my own car seat, or do I have to pay for one? Like usually with these airlines, they'll let you travel with two kids items as part of the ticket. So check your ticket.
Also, I don't know if this is well known, but especially on, I know you mentioned like the budget airlines before. A lot of the time, if you're with kids, you've got priority boarding, or you can just rock up to priority boarding and just board straight away. I don't know if everyone knows that, but I always took advantage of it. I would always just to get them settled on the plane, because the last thing they need is like the big, you know, when it's the big rush of people getting onto the flight, that can stress some kids out, and it's not worth it.
Yeah,
especially when it's there to take advantage of.
Yeah, you know, you don't want to, like, getting on the plane early is good for you and it's good for the crew, like you say, to get them settled. That's it. You know, I know, like for me, I'm always one of those people that I waited to be like one of the last people on the plane, because I'm just like, I don't want to stand and wait in the queue or whatever. So I'll just sit down until, okay, most of the queue's not there or whatever. I'll get on the plane last. Doesn't really matter to me, like whatever. Especially if I have a check bag and I'm gonna need to, like, if I have to gate check a bag, then I'm like, okay, no big deal if I'm last on the plane and my carry-on needs gate checked or whatever. But you know, when you have kids, just get yourself on the plane and get yourself settled. I know that's maybe 20 minutes or half an hour more on the plane than you would ideally want to be, but just get yourself down, get yourself settled. That's it.
Yeah,
that's top. That's just it.
That is good.
You know? And give you, like, give yourself some leeway. I think as well when you're on the flight, you see those horror stuff. Everyone complains about like crying kids on the flight. No one is gonna begrudge you when you're on that flight if you're getting up and walking up and down the aisle trying to soothe your kid and keep them quiet. That is totally okay and more preferable to them sitting there crying their head off.
Yeah.
And what I've also found on flights is that passengers around you will sometimes want to engage like with your kids, or like if they're running up and down the aisle a little bit, like not to the point where they're causing a ruckus, but they will be quite happy to like entertain them and say like, oh, hello. And it's usually the people that have been parents or are parents that have been there before, like they understand what it's like. There's a lot more understanding people on that flight than there are arseholes on that flight.
I was going to say, I don't think you realize how many people don't care about what your kids are doing.
Yeah.
To an extent, especially I think nowadays as well, because the majority of people on that flight are going to have headphones in and they'll be listening to music. So a lot of the time people can't even hear what's going on. But I've only ever had one bad experience flying with the kids. This was when Jaden was coming back from Spain. It was a really late flight. I think we landed at gone midnight, it was something like that, and he was very young. I don't think it was the first time. It might have been the second year. So he would have been like 18 months or something like that, and he kind of he just had a terrible time and cried pretty much the whole flight back. So we was up like walking the aisle, as you said. Luckily, we always tend to have the very back seats on the flight. Not gonna lie, the main reason for that is that from when we fly from Southend, there's always steps at both doors. So it's something as well where I know that if you're either at the very front or at the very back, you can literally be the last ones on the plane and it's fine. So that's always been the reason for planning it. But because of that, we kind of had the little walkway bit at the back as well where the toilets are. So we wasn't up and down the aisle. It was more kind of around that area.
Yeah.
But I mean, for us, it was a stressful flight because he was just in a bit of a state. But then as well, we were both thinking, what's everyone else thinking of us? Because straight away, you assume everyone's looking at you thinking they're awful parents because their child is crying on a plane. But literally, when we landed and when we was getting off the flight, like people were coming up to us saying how well they thought we'd handled the whole thing and stuff like that. So that was really good. I think as well, that's one of the good things about flying in school holiday times. I know that the prices are a lot higher, but you've got a lot more tolerant people because they're normally, like you said, parents or have been parents. So they kind of know the deal to an extent as well, which is good.
Yeah. I also find like when I have flown with like my kids, and not that they're being difficult, but they're getting a bit fidgety and stuff. Also, like the air stewards and stewardesses are usually pretty great too. Especially once they've done like all their drink service and stuff, and they're just like milling around. Like they're pretty happy. Like they don't really mind like seeing the kids up the back in the galley area, like you're saying, and sometimes we'll entertain them like for a little bit as well if they've got the time. Like that's been my experience, and on EasyJet specifically is the airline that I remember that being on. But they've all usually been pretty great because they're used to it too. They're more used to it than you think you are, right? Yeah. So as a new parent, it's a new experience in its entirety for you, but the people on the plane, especially the staff on the plane, have been there before. Like, just be kind to yourself. I think I think one of those things generally in any kind of stressful situation that we kind of take to have a warped view on is our kids pick up on our own stress levels. So the more calm and more composed
that's very true.
Stay, that will pass on to your kids too. So the more stressed you get, the more stressed they'll get, which is something that I think is universal, no matter whether it's flying or
now you've said
situation.
Now you've said that, I've realized like one of the reasons mine are so easy traveling now might be because I don't know what it is, but for some reason, whenever I'm flying specifically and in an airport, I'm the most relaxed ever. Like that's my most relaxed time is when I'm in an airport, and I don't know why, but I just seem to be really relaxed around it. Well, it doesn't even matter where I'm flying to, so it doesn't have to be like even if it's a work trip, I'll still be just very relaxed in an airport. So that might, as you said, that might also rub off on the kids, and that might be why mine are quite easy to travel with now.
Yeah, relaxed. You're getting excited. You're going on holiday. You're going to go and fly to another country. You're going to slap yourself down in a sun lounger and have a nice time for a week and a half, 2 weeks, or however long it is. Be excited for that. Get them excited for that. They're going to be able to play in the pool or the beach or whatever it is that you're doing. Going skiing if you're doing winter holidays. Whatever it is, get them excited for that, and make the experience, like, although it is stressful, like, this is a fun new experience. It was really interesting, actually. So Stephanie and I were coming back from London on Saturday morning, and there was a mother with her 2 kids, one in a stroller, one with them, and we were on the tube. And the carriage that we were on was one of the back carriages. And sometimes in London, when you're traveling on the underground, the platforms aren't long enough for all the doors to open. So they were supposed to get off at this stop, and the mother and a few other passengers on the train were trying to get off at that stop, and they missed it, and the doors closed in front of them. So they got off at the next station, and the mother was like, when they got to that thing, because there was no step-free access at this one, she was like to her kid must have been like 4, maybe 4 and 5, and the other one in the stroller might have been 2.5 or something like that. She was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. Now we've got to go up all the way up the stairs and like round." And it's just like, you're putting that stress that you're experiencing on your kids, which is not good. And she was like, Stephanie said, she was just like, if she'd reframed that and said to the kids, "Okay, now we get to go on a fun adventure. We get to go up the stairs and, have a little bit of adventure like through this platform instead." Like, just reframing what you're doing in your experience, although it is stressful in your mind, has an infinitely more positive impact on how your kids are going to comply with the thing that you have to do that might be slightly more stressful, because you reframed it in that way. And kids pick up on all of that stuff. And the more you can make things like a game or a stressful experience into a bit of fun or an adventure for the kids, the way more compliant and helpful that they're going to be in that situation. So just think about that as a parent. Like, how do you reframe a stressful thing as something that the kids might enjoy?
Yeah, I think that's just you learn that from experience, I think. Because like if I think back to my early days of being a parent, I would like that in that situation I would get stressed out. Whereas now I would do like Stephanie said, I would have reframed it and said, so one more train up here, up the stairs.
Yeah, I think those are the best bits of advice, especially when it comes to stressful situations anyway, but especially when it comes to traveling. Reddit question. I think we've probably answered some of this already.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Question?
So before we touch on that, I'm wondering if I can fold it into that. I don't know. Either way, I'm just going to tell the story. So I had, this was when it was just Jaden. So Amelia hadn't been born yet, but we had our flight from Malaga home was cancelled.
Oof.
That was something that you can't be prepared for. That's just something where, because no one wants to take responsibility for one, which is annoying. Like, the airline won't say, "Oh, this is our fault." The airport won't really help you in those situations. So I think it was an 8-hour delay that we had, and I'd love to look back and see how many steps I walked that day, because it was literally just walking up and down the entire airport for hours. And even then, we just had to make you have to make the most of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the best part about that experience was that the whole flight cost was refunded to us because of how long the delay was. So that 8 hours wasted paid for next year's flights.
Yeah. Got to take the silver linings.
Yeah, had to, because at the time there were no silver linings. It was a horrible experience. Luckily, Jaden was absolutely fine in his little buggy. I think a lot of airports nowadays have little areas for kids anyway, with like a little little playpen with maybe a slide and some things like that. So like Malaga Airport had that, so that was good. So yeah, that might be another thing that I'd say is if you can find those areas for your kids, do that, because if you can tire them out before a flight as well, that's also
So
quite
good.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Ignore my advice of getting them to take drugs to knock them out, and listen to Andrew instead. Just make them tired first.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if one doesn't work, do the other.
Yeah, have the backup plan.
Always have the backup.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. If you're considering holidays with your kids, consider. I guess this kind of ties in. You mentioned Malaga Airport, like having that area for your kids. Travel to destinations that you know are fairly kid friendly or reliable for where families traveling is going to be expected in those places, and they'll have facilities that suit that better too. So you mentioned Malaga. Malaga is obviously a very popular destination in the south of Spain for families across Europe to head to, especially families from the UK and stuff. So they're going to be more equipped to have facilities like that. If you know that you're traveling to an area that is popular with families, there are many of them here in Europe. I'm not sure in the States. Everything seems to be, like every destination in the States tends to be some kind of hub for something or the other, so are more likely to have bigger and better facilities. But yeah, if you're traveling within Europe, travel to destinations that you know are going to be kind on you if things like that do go wrong. Make that a consideration.
Yeah, that's really good advice.
Ready question. So I don't know which one this was taken from, Andrew, whether it's Ask Dads or Parenting Tips or what have you.
I think it might have been parenting tips. Just because I've got I don't know this, but I've got a feeling it might have been posted by the mother. I don't know that. I just, from the language used, I get that impression. But if I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. But anyway, the question is, as a first-time traveler with kids, are there any tips that will help my trip be more successful? I leave in a week, so I have some time to prepare. All generic travel tips with kids are welcome, but specific details are below. Traveling with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, lap child, 2 adults, 2 kids, 3 total flights, 1 5 hours, 1 2.5 hours, 2 driving stints. One is 3-hour drive time, the other is 5-hour drive time. Renting a car, all cars in Texas have air conditioning, right? Question mark. Biggest concerns are time kids are strapped into seats and the heat. 70 is considered very hot where I live. We're not used to that heat. So 70 degrees Fahrenheit is somewhere in the 20s, mid-20s, I think. Texas in the summer is oppressively hot. I speak from personal experience. I think we've kind of covered some of throughout what we've been talking about.
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of this.
But I think the driving thing is a bit of a different one. So
yeah,
for holidays for me in the UK, I think the longest drive that I've done with any of the kids is 6 hours, and that was just with Teddy. Mentioned already, some of your airlines are going to be pretty good, like with your car seats and whatever you need to do. I think what your journey will take long. Like, it's not so much advice, but this is something that to expect. Your journey will take longer. Like you're driving in the US. Like, I've done a fair bit of driving in the US myself, and like, take breaks. If you're in Texas, they're going to have like big gas stations, which you will be like entertainment venues in their own right.
Yeah.
Expect to take scheduled breaks. Like, if your kids are getting hot and frustrated, then get them out, go for a Wendy's or a Panera Bread or what have you. Go and explore like the gas stations. We talked about making things an excitement and a bit of an adventure. Drip those things in, and what you might find is that even one of those like roadside stops turns out to be a bit of an adventure, and one of the things that kids remember about the holidays, or are excited about on the holidays. Yes, all cars in Texas have AC, especially if you're renting from like Enterprise or any of those kind of car rental companies. They give you nice cars and don't tend to have more than 20,000 miles on the clock. So they're all new vehicles with AC and they're all taken care of. So don't worry about that. I'm very fortunate. My kids fall asleep in the car. So it's one of they're not necessarily not so much on flights, but in cars, my kids tend to fall asleep. 3-in-1 is 3 and 1 is they're young kids. You know, you're gonna have to pray for them to fall asleep a little bit. I think to help make it more manageable. But yeah, that road noise and that movement, I think, is good. Amongst all the other tips that we've kind of shared.
Yeah,
give yourself extra time.
Yeah, I'd probably say try and make, especially like when I first read this, like the flights did not faze me, but when I saw the road time, that was the bit that at first reading would have stressed me out a little bit. So yeah, I would probably say to make that part of the holiday, make them realize it's part of the trip.
Yeah.
And not just part of the journey, if that makes sense. So that's and I'd go probably OCD with the planning on what time we're going to be stopping for meals and things like that. But like you said, I think in the States, I'm assuming that there's a lot more stop-off places than driving in the UK.
Yeah, there is. Like gas stations, service stations are pretty consistently regular. Driving in the States, especially if all of that drive time is mostly highways, then which said they've mentioned going to Texas here. Most of Texas is highways with lots of stop off points. I think it's just being strapped into seats. Like I think listen to like your own body. If you're uncomfortable, it's likely that they're uncomfortable too. The heat with the AC in the car, like actually traveling by car is probably one of my preferred things to do in the US. Stephanie and I have regularly driven from Austin to West Texas, which is a 6.5 hour drive. And honestly, you chew up that road time pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Because it's all pretty simple. And actually being in the car is actually the most comfortable bit because you do have that AC and you can put your music on or whatever and just try and enjoy that part of the journey.
Yeah, I was just thinking you could maybe beforehand do a playlist, but get everyone involved. Actually, saying that for kids maybe that age, it wouldn't work as much because obviously 3 and 1, they're not as cohesive as say my two. But like if I was in that position, I would sit Jade and Amelia down and say, right, we've got a fairly long car journey. Let's put a playlist together.
Yeah. And
sit down and we all have kind of input on the songs that are going to be coming on and things like that. I Spy is also going to be like your friend.
Yeah,
we sort of games like too. That. Yeah.
Yeah. We play Stephanie and I and the kids play a game where you guess an animal or you think of an animal and you tell the rest of the car where the animal lives. So I'm thinking of an animal and it lives in trees or it lives in rivers or whatever, and then they have to guess the animal. That's another fun one that we play.
That's quite a good game. I'm gonna steal that.
You're gonna steal that.
And say I'm gonna say I invented it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You are an inventor, Andrew.
Well, yeah.
You're an inventor. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up. I think with general tips we've kind of talked about throughout the episode, but specifically for this person's situation, make it all part of the trip. And if you do create a playlist and it has everybody's input, then you're not stuck listening to Disney songs for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And I've also found this. Yeah, I listen to when I put music on in the car. It's mainly what I want to listen to and what Stephanie wants to listen to. And like my kids have actually, every so often, Teddy, my eldest, will be like, "Oh, Daddy, I like this song," and it will be like one of my favorite songs. So like giving them that taste of your music genre. Like I listen to like a lot of hip hop and a lot of also like metalcore and things like that. So the heavy stuff, and they like it all. Just give them that diversity and taste of experience. Like if you don't want to listen to Disney songs all the time, they're catchy and the kids are in tune with it. But don't forget that normal music is catchy too. The stuff that you like listening to is catchy too. So
very true.
There you go. I think that kind of covers it.
Yeah,
for now.
I can't think of anything else. I think we've solved traveling for every parent out there.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Nailed it.
You are welcome.
Nailed it. Yeah, we'll have to do another episode when you get back. It's just like, we did that episode on traveling, and then you're gonna have to tell us about your experience this summer.
Yeah, ignore everything I said. It was all shit. The devices didn't work. They were bastards at the airport.
Oh man.
I am actually flying from Stansted this year, not Southend, so I might have a different take on the airport stuff.
Yeah, leave extra time at Stansted. Trust me.
Security. It's not.
Stansted can be an absolute shit house. So,
especially in the summer.
Especially in the summer.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest airport, but passenger wise, I think it's one of the most densely high volumed places. But
yeah.
Leave extra time for security. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Tech Tap Pod listeners, I hope you have enjoyed. Andrew, it is always a pleasure. And it was great to see you this week.
You too, man.
All right.
It needs to happen more. We need to see each other more, because that doesn't happen nearly enough.
No, it doesn't. I would agree with that. Andrew and I had the pleasure of each other's company this week and ended up doing karaoke and all kinds of fun stuff. Maybe we'll talk about that another time. How we relax.
That'd be good. Yeah.
All right, mate. I love you.
Love you too, buddy.
All right. Have a good day.
You too, man.
Bye, everybody.
Take care, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Well, if you're watching, you will see us soon, and if you're listening, you'll hear us soon.
Yeah. Click subscribe, subscribe, share with your friends.
I can't bring myself to say that. I don't know why.
Well, I said it for you.
I don't like asking for stuff.
Well,
hopefully they pick up on the energy that I would really like them to do that, but I'm not gonna say it.
All right. On behalf of Andrew and I, subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll catch you on another episode sometime soon.
Yeah. Catch you next time, guys.